I can hear it. I can hear it in my headphones, Pat. I can feel it in my balls, and I can hear it in my headphones.
You can feel it in your balls.
You can feel it in your balls.
And your vaginas.
And you can feel it. You can feel it. You can feel it.
In your crotch.
In your crotch.
Boom.
You can feel it. You can feel it. You can feel it in your crotch.
Jeff, do you believe in ghosts?
It's a great question. The answer is no. I don't. But hey, check this out. Since we're kicking this off,
Right.
I want to make sure that everybody knows that this is episode 13.
See this?
Yeah, season 3, episode 13, and it's the Halloween
That's
episode.
not an accident. We did all of this on purpose.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Hey, happy Halloween, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you. Happy Halloween to you as well.
You still trick-or-treat?
I do. I go trick-or-treating every year.
With the kids or without? Do you go once with the kids and then once without?
I don't have to go separately. Do you have any idea? Okay, I live in a neighborhood, and it's a big neighborhood.
Yeah.
And my kids, like, they get, like, instead of, like, the little buckets that they carry around pillowcases.
Right.
And
Old
they
school.
fill up the pillowcases.
Really?
Yeah, and we have a rule like the candy can only be in the house for like a week and a half or 2 weeks at most, and then my wife is like, take out, you get like a little baggie, like a little Ziploc baggie, and you put your favorites in there. The rest of the shit gets donated.
That's reasonable.
Like dentists and in the school, they collect it. They used to send it like overseas, and I think they still do that to like
Really?
troops overseas.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I was like, wait, to kids overseas?
Yeah,
They don't
like
have
here,
candy
rot
over
your
there?
teeth. Over.
They're like, hey, China, fuck your kids.
Go fuck yourself, China.
Here's some candy, and they're like, oh, all right. No, I think there's I think I'm gonna start giving away exotic candy on Halloween.
Like Werther's Originals.
Yeah, well, no, no, just like Klondike bars and stuff like that.
Like Klondike bars. That's a good. I like that one.
You know what I mean? Like that's where like it's not even gonna stay in the house. It's not even gonna get to your house.
That's right.
Eat this on the road, dude.
You gotta go.
You don't eat enough candy walking around. You know what I'm saying?
You need the energy.
Kids, if I can suggest anything to you, or adults, whoever's going out trick-or-treating this year, go out there, eat all of the candy before it comes home. That way, you don't have to worry about, it's going to stay in the house for a week, or you get this much. Fuck your teeth now.
Listen, you know what I think is fun? Is I like to just take a handful of razor blades and dump them in people's bags.
Absolutely.
It's a fun game to play. Look,
Don't hide them.
First of all, we take the mystery out of whether or not you're going to eat the razor blade, but it's fun when you stick your hand in the bag to try and get the candy out if you're going to cut yourself.
Yeah, even when you get a Snickers.
I mean, when my kids do it and they cut, I'm like, and they're like, oh, Dad, you got me again.
It's tradition.
Yeah, it's tradition.
And then they go to the ER and they go, Dad's at it again.
Oh,
huh?
Beck family's here again.
Oh, dear. Get the police.
Oh, dear.
Were you ever actually scared of the razor and the apple when you were a kid?
Yeah, I was scared of a couple of things.
I'm more scared of getting a fucking apple.
Yeah, did you not have like the old neighbor lady that handed out candy apples or?
When we would go trick or treating, we lived on a dead end road across the street from a factory.
Of course you did. So there's nobody there.
There's nobody even turn their lights on Halloween.
Right,
and that's fine.
Right.
Like, and then you go to like my grandmother's neighborhood, which was also like it was more suburban. It had a way out. It wasn't just a dead end.
Right.
It was also like neighbors like right on top of each other. So
sure.
But unfortunately, that same neighborhood ultimately traumatized me to most scary things. As being a scaredy cat kid growing up, anyway.
Okay.
That was where I experienced my first ever real life jump scare.
Okay, so what happened?
It was the bowl of candy was sitting on this guy's lap. Well, at first I thought,
Was this your uncle's lap? Or?
Simply, no. This was, first of all, this was just a stranger creep, not a familiar creep.
Yeah, right. Okay, gotcha.
But he's sitting there. It's meant to be a scarecrow of like, hey, nobody's home, so
please take one.
We just put this bowl of candy in this scarecrow's lap, and this is our fun decoration. But when you go blah or something like that, right?
Right.
No, nothing in the scarecrow.
So it just was a scarecrow.
But while you're walking away, somebody's running at you from inside the garage.
Holy shit!
Yeah, it scared the fuck out of me. And like I screamed like a little girl and ran over to my mom, and she was just kind of like, "Oh, thank you, yeah, happy Halloween." Because she's not gonna be like yell at. That's what you're supposed to do on Halloween.
Yeah.
She just hadn't filled me in of like, hey, maybe she didn't sniff this one out.
Right.
Or maybe even worse, she participated in a trend that I don't like, which is parents knowingly trying to scare their children.
Okay, gotcha.
You know what I mean? Because guess what, guys? It sticks with you.
Well, well, I gotta be honest with you. I don't know that I've seen anybody like come out from the shadows. Like I've seen the scarecrow that's actually a person, type of environment.
Right.
And it does create some post traumatic stress because then your kids are always like,
yeah. Every house they go to now.
Like, is this going to be the one? I've never seen somebody like come out of the bushes or like the garage, so that was pretty innovative. I'm just curious.
I respect it.
I'm just curious, like if that person didn't recognize that somebody's going to get them, chasing after their kids.
And like also, I remember being pretty young. Like I don't think I was maybe I was less than double digit.
Well, I don't know, but we have this thing in our household where there's constant like my youngest son is like he's easy to scare. In fact, I scared him just by staring at him one time.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
So he's on a mission.
But like what? Like this? Like dead-eyed or like...
Okay, so like this.
Really?
That's it.
Oh, wow. That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I was scared of like lightning and like grasshoppers and shit, but like, I mean, damn.
Yeah. I mean, like he was scared. Anyway, but so now he's on a mission to scare me.
I like it.
Because I don't react like I think a typical, like I don't go, I don't.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't get scared. It's just my reaction.
You don't startle easily.
I don't startle easily.
Okay.
Right. And it's just nothing. It's just, I guess my genetic makeup just doesn't, I just don't startle easily. And so I'm usually more curious, like, why did that happen?
Don't worry, bud. I'm on the case now, too.
Yeah. So
every time I go into class now, I'm just going to go,
that's what he does. He like hides behind things. Like he's behind doorways. He's everywhere. And he just like, he pops out. He's like, ah!
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn it. He's like, didn't that get you?
Try a noise. Try like a pop or something like that. Set a firecracker off in his face. You know what I mean? Something like that.
Yeah, good advice. He listens to the podcast.
He
does. Yeah, but no. When I was a kid, yeah, I was. I had a very vivid imagination. So like, I worked myself up into a tangent about all kinds of things.
Same, yeah.
And my favorite movies, of course, were all the forbidden ones. Like Friday the 13th was a classic.
Mm-hmm.
Any of the Friday the 13th movies, probably. I think number 3 was popular at the time.
Okay,
so like, it was. It was on.
That was the one where he actually got the mask.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, the hockey mask, right? Because the second one he had a burlap sack.
The first one was his
mom. Oh, did you
Come
fucking?
on,
I
you
ruined
just
it.
Spoiled it.
Sorry, everybody.
Jesus. Anyway,
Who's his mom?
It was fucking mom.
Who's his fucking mom?
It was fucking Mrs. Voorhees. I was born in Voorhees, New Jersey.
No shit.
Not to get off on tangent.
13th episode.
Yeah, 13th episode. Friday the 13th. I love hockey.
I love machetes.
You love machetes, and I happen to have that question that I asked you.
Do I believe in ghosts?
Legitimate.
Okay, so here's the story behind the ghost things. I used to believe in ghosts a lot.
We talked about that.
We did touch about this, and like to the extent, like to the point where, like I would go ghost hunting.
Okay, no, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and
I feel like I'm there now.
I'm a huge fan of like the horror movies and just like I like local lore. It's one of my favorite things. And of course, growing up near Gettysburg, that's like you go on ghost tours.
Perfect,
it's the most haunted place in all of America or whatever, supposedly. So, but in Pennsylvania itself, there's lots of places that like there's a place in York that's like the 7 gates of hell. There's like all, and so I loved as a youngster, and especially once I got my license and stuff, to go and like investigate, all these locations that I'd heard about where whole families got murdered and all that stuff and
fun stuff.
Yeah, fun stuff, light stuff,
Yeah.
lighthearted stuff. And I did believe at one point, like, because I mean, I'm sure all of us have experienced this, where there's some sort of phenomenon that happened in your general vicinity, and you're like, it's unexplainable.
Yeah.
It must be ghosts.
Right.
And I remember, and we won't have a visual for our audio listeners, but I remember one time being in the kitchen with my wife when we were very young, and we were having a conversation, and we both saw a can go like slide across the counter. Don't know why. Could have been like moisture.
Was it full or empty?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Because I know I've seen an empty one do that before, the condensation or whatever. But,
sure, and then it's right, and
yeah,
it was possible that it like, and I was like, house is haunted.
Right.
At any rate,
yeah. Don't you love that? That's your and I think that is a youth thing. It's so funny that you realize that, or at least were helped to be realized.
Yeah, my wife told me that, like, because I'm an atheist. I don't believe in a God. And so what's interesting about that is that she's like, wait a minute, there's a contradiction here.
Yeah.
You don't believe in an afterlife or God. How do you believe in ghosts? And I was like, that's a good point.
Did you ever catch anything or have a personal experience?
Sure.
But like in that sense now, looking back with new Jeff Brain, do you go back and go like, oh, that was just condensation? Like, do you explain everything away? Or is there something that you did experience or see that you still have like, I don't have an explanation for it. I don't know if it's necessarily a fucking ghost.
Exactly.
But did you have anything like that? Did you ever get any hard evidence?
No. And what's interesting is that, like, when you stop like believing in those things, like, they stop occurring.
Yeah.
Right. So
really?
yeah, because you kind of like, your perception is reality type of deal. So
that must be like, dark houses to you are just so boring.
Yeah, they're just dark houses.
You're just like dangerous. You're just like, oh no, I need a light so I don't fall down.
Right. I don't want to. Right.
You're not thinking, oh my God, my soul.
You're right. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Because I don't have one.
Well, hey, you never know.
You never know. I've got.
What if he's
soul.
listening, Jeff? Remember what we're saying? Shh! Don't make fun of him.
I think that. Yeah, I noticed that as soon as I stopped believing in a lot of these things, they just disappeared. But did I ever go back and try and, like, no, not really, because I still have a vivid imagination, and I do like the idea that there's like something unexplained out there.
Yeah. You want to believe.
Yeah, and I think that that's fair to say that if you don't have an explanation for it, scientifically or whatever, that it's unexplained.
By the way, unexplained is almost more fun than compelling proof. Like, I feel like even with people
I think so too. Yeah,
people being shown directly, like straight up, this is definitive proof of unexplained aerial phenomenon.
Right.
A Navy pilot's like, holy shit, this thing's going crazy. I don't know what the hell this is. Do you know what it is? The person in the radio is like, I don't know what the fuck it is.
Yeah.
That alone is already interesting, but also it's like,
I agree.
But once you actually see it, once you see the unexplained, once the unexplained is explained, it's kind of fucking boring.
Yeah.
So to me, when you hear footsteps or you see like a weird shadow thing, you know what I mean? I watch basically every single ghost countdown video online. That's one of my wormholes.
For sure. I like them too. I watch them too.
It's my jam. My personal favorite is Nuke's Top 5. Free plug for Nuke.
Oh, Nuke's Top 5. Oh, good.
It's fucking great.
I've got a plug then for us too, but keep going.
Perfect.
Yeah.
He kind of cultivates or like curates a list of videos from the internet of other ghost paranormal investigators.
Sure.
And kind of finds the best, most definitive evidence, for lack of a better word. Yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of them you can go like, poo-poo, and then other ones you can be like, damn, that's fucking weird. Like,
yeah.
But me and Dom will watch it. Dom humors me by watching them.
Sure, of course.
Doesn't. I don't know exactly how. I think she's kind of in your boat, where she's kind of like, I don't really.
It's a hard circle to square.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's hard to once you're out of it. Yeah, it's hard to get back in unless like a ghost picks you up and chokes you.
Right, but even then I'm like, and even then I'm like, you choke like an asshole. Yeah. You don't even know how to choke people.
Yeah. My God, I could just fucking break your grips.
Yeah, it's easy.
But she'll watch it, and every once in a while there'll be one where you're like, shit, because a lot of times I'm string other side of the thing. If somebody pulls it,
sure, it could be that.
It
right,
could just be a setup. Another person in that room, doesn't matter. Every once in a while, you're just like, damn, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, if that's real, that's crazy. That's what we always say. If this is real, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I leave room for that because part of me really likes to be entertained by these things. So as a for instance, my wife is very good. And I love her. She's a terrific human being. Everybody that's ever met me knows how much I think of her.
Bringing endorsements every time I hear you talking about her.
Yeah,
you love her.
I do love her, and
good.
she's like the greatest human being. She is not, however, fun to watch movies with.
Oh, really?
Because she knows who the killer is in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And she doesn't spoil it, but sometimes she'll like want to give me she just wants to show, flex her muscle and be like, it's the butler, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
And I know she's always right?
Yeah.
And so for her, like, these things aren't entertaining to watch because she's got it figured out and it's not fun. Well, I don't even try and guess.
Right.
And that's the thing. So I leave room in there
that.
for me to like just enjoy being entertained.
Yeah.
Like I'm watching it for the purpose of being entertained. I don't want to know who the killer is until the end.
Yeah, it's not fun for you to ruin the surprise for yourself.
Yeah, I don't try and figure it out.
Right.
So just let it go and just see what happens. Okay. So, that's kind of where I fall in the paranormal spectrum.
Okay, yeah. Don't ruin it for me.
Yeah, don't ruin it for me. If I think that's weird, it's fucking weird.
Right.
And that's cool.
Yeah, and if you're skeptical about it, if you're like, you're going to be like, well, okay. You mean like you want to have your own findings, no matter what it is.
Right.
I get that.
Yeah.
I think I'm more like your wife than that because I have that thing where I'm watching a movie and I'm immediately going like, oh, I think it's got to be him then.
Are you usually right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, but I don't normally say it out loud unless every once in a while Dom will just be like, so she'll go either like, what'd you think? We usually wait till the end.
Sure.
Like, I think she knows that if she asks beforehand, like if she pauses in the middle, we could take a bathroom break during a movie or something.
Yeah.
She'll go like, so what do you think so far? I'll just be like,
yeah.
Yeah, because that's
I'm not saying right.
that's usually my thing. Is like
I don't want to ruin it. Right.
It's very predictable. It seems. I don't know, but I do that to I overanalyze. Like I know that that's me saying like I have to figure it out. Sometimes I do. But I love it, and I don't know if this is the case. Has she ever been wrong and like been like, oh shit, and like you actually get to genuinely see her be like surprised, like at a surprise ending?
I'm sure I have.
What
don't
about
remember.
like The Departed? Did you guys watch The Departed?
Yeah. We did. Yeah, The Departed.
Remember the end with the rat?
Yeah.
Did she know that was coming?
I mean, I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't remember. I'm sure there have been moments where she was like, "Well, I didn't see that coming."
Because I would take her. I would love to have her. If that's the case, I would love her to be a movie critic.
Yeah.
To me, that would be like the best ever movie critic.
She hates just about every movie though.
Perfect.
So,
yeah, me too. Yeah, like Marvel. Oh, I wonder if the bad guy is going to lose and the good guy is going to win.
So what is good?
That's the thing.
Question.
You know
right,
what I mean? Like good is subjective. Like it is. I realize that. Like I can't say that I am the end all be all. But as far as like if you're talking about storytelling, it's what you're going into it for.
Right.
So in the fact of like horror movies or ghost movies, it's kind of like magic, like you said. You don't want to see how they're tricking you.
I don't want to see the
magic.
magic.
When they just lie, that's the thing that really pisses me off. When they just lie. It's not a misdirect, that's lazy storytelling.
Right.
You just fucking lied. You're like, nope, it's not him. DNA didn't come back. But they're like, but the lab tech was in on it.
Right.
Oh, cool. So it was him the whole time.
Right.
And we all knew it the whole time, but you lied and just
so that we
wasted our hour and a half.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. I got you.
So I do like so as far as horror movies, let's say great horror movies, in my opinion.
In your opinion.
It Follows is one that I don't think I don't know if there's really anything to figure out necessarily. It's just, it's relentless. It's fucking scary.
I haven't watched it.
If you put yourself, it's one of those movies where a lot of times I like to put myself in that scenario.
Sure, I understand.
But I'll go, if this was me, what would I do?
Okay.
Blair Witch. If you watch Blair Witch what the fuck are you going to do?
Great movie, by the way.
Right.
I was like reasonably terrified by the Blair Witch.
Still scary to watch with the lights off.
It is. It's a great film.
Right.
Yeah.
And to me, less is more. The suspense is what scares me.
I agree.
And It Follows is very, if I remember correctly, very little gore.
Okay.
I don't quote me on that, but definitely suspense.
Okay, good.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah. Do you have any like horror stories of your own like personal life, like things?
Actual like ghost stories?
Yeah. Like, do you have any?
Yeah.
Do you have one that like sticks out the most? Okay. Well, let's hear it.
I'm very confident in saying.
Sure.
I'm very confidently agnostic.
Agnostic.
I don't know.
Sure.
And this is why I'm that.
Go ahead.
This story in particular.
I'm all ears, man.
So we used to, the house we grew up in on the dead end across the street from a factory.
Right.
I paint that picture, but it was this side of the street was a nice neighborhood.
Okay, gotcha.
It just legitimately was a factory on the other side. So we grew up in this house, and at a certain point, my grandfather passed away. My grandmother was living by herself. She ended up getting sick a couple years later, and then ended up moving in with us.
Okay.
To that house. So she was staying in my old room, and I was staying in a new addition we built on the back.
Okay.
So my room's back there. Her room is my old room. She passes away about a year or two after living with us, and in that room at home. I don't know exactly the timeline at this point, but it is after a while. We kind of used it for storage. You know, Mom didn't really want to deal with that as her mom. She didn't want to have to go through her stuff.
Sure.
So the room is open, but it's also like it's just being kind of cluttered right now, you know. But what we did was hang up her wind chimes in the room when she was staying there.
Okay.
They've been in there, but like unless you bump your head on one of them,
they don't
make any noise.
Right.
She just liked the angels on them. She loved angels and stuff.
Gotcha.
So one night I was up real late watching Skinamax.
What else is there to do?
It was like probably like 3:30 in the morning, something like that. And I had to watch it on mute because my mom's room was like right here.
Okay, gotcha.
And right next to her room was that room. Like this hallway kind of went around.
Okay.
And that's the other room.
Gotcha.
So my mom's in her room, doors closed, cats are in there.
You weren't missing anything, by the way, in terms of watching him on mute.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't like missing any dialogue.
Yeah. No plot points.
I just found the two channels that would have either real sex and or a movie, and I would just flip back in between just trying to catch a scene.
Right.
So I'm sitting there, and then all of a sudden, in my grandma's old room, I hear the wind chimes. Like it's like somebody's like batting it, like this. And I'm sitting there like listening, like, what the fuck? And it immediately registers because it's not a noise that I'm used to hearing. Like it's something that immediately is like, what the fuck is that? Like, holy shit, wind chime! It's coming from right there.
Sure.
This dark room. The door's open, but you can't see.
Sure.
in there.
Right.
And I'm just sitting there, and it's for probably like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. I don't know. I honestly don't know how long. It felt like forever because my room is in the back of the house.
Okay.
I have to walk past that room
to
get to my room. So I'm like, I don't know what to do. And I have to turn the lights off because it's bed. I would have to turn.
Sure.
So I have to walk in the dark hallway past that room. So I don't know what to do. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, immediately try to figure out, okay, is it the air conditioning?
Yeah.
Is it like nobody's up? I'm the only other person in the house. The only other two people are sleeping in there. I would have heard them get up and like it's right there.
Sure.
I have no idea. The cats are in the room. They can't reach it anyway. They have never acknowledged the wind chimes ever.
Right.
The whole time they've ever existed.
But couldn't reach them anyway.
I have no idea what to explain.
So what did you do then?
I was frozen. I was completely frozen until it stopped. I ended up and gathered up enough courage. I waited long enough that I felt safe after they stopped to turn the TV off, turn the lights off, and run past that room. So the next morning, I told my mom, and she's like, and this is why I really legitimately feel like there was something, definitely something I couldn't explain, maybe more. Is when I was telling my mom, I was like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And instead of her being like, what the fuck are you talking about? Or what? Or anything like her immediate reaction was like, next time that happens, wake me up. And I was like, whoa, you're crazy. But maybe I am too. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was a personal experience that I was just like, there is legitimately no answer.
And that was that. Did it ever happen again?
Never happened again. Not when I was there.
Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, as far as I know, it never happened again. And actually, I think my mom started sleeping on the couch after that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Actually, that's kind of weird. I think I did realize that. Like, she slept on the couch a lot.
Was she trying to listen for it?
I think so, yeah. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I say that I've had plenty of I can't think of anything terrifying besides stuff that I freak myself out.
Yeah, and that, in retrospect, I should not have been terrified. But I
understand. Yeah,
was a genuinely unexplained. Even to this day, I can't even say it's condensation. It's the wind or nothing. There was no reason.
Yeah.
But,
So okay. Well, I'm gonna this is not horrifying by any stretch of the imagination. I've been in plenty of situations where I was like,
damn.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. Where you're like, what was that? And because in your situation, if you're going to places to do investigations, it could be it could just be a fucking squatter. I think about that a lot of times.
Sure. I mean, for sure.
Videos.
Yeah. I mean, you're doing a lot of things that you like. You're in places you shouldn't be in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're out west, like that's where all the serial murders live.
Yeah.
You know, it's like stay the fuck out of there, man. Like.
Right.
Okay, but no, I mean, like, and I've even been in just like in situations where, like, I mean, like things went bad, and I'm like scared, you know, that I, you know, fuck something up, like something's going to go bad or whatever. I had one time I had a girlfriend, like, you know, when I was in high school or whatever, we were like parking, we were like making out. Yeah. And somebody pulled up behind us in this like spot, like it was in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. And I was like, fuck, and I took off, and they followed. Yeah. And the more I sped up, the closer they got, you know, and that was one of those moments where I was like, oh shit, like
that's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, because I didn't know,
because
like
it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a ghoul.
Right? No,
a person.
It was some people in a truck like chasing us, and I pulled into her neighborhood at the front, which had like an open spot, and sat there, and they stopped like in the middle of the road and just sat there, and I was like, what are we going to do?
What now, bro?
Right. And then it just like turned around and left. And I was like, woof. Yeah. So that was terrifying. But no.
That's
okay.
pretty terrifying.
In a moment, but that was clearly not a ghost story. That was just me being chased by probably the property owner of the place I was parking.
Honestly, you know what? Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So check this out. I'm gonna just, in a moment of vulnerability, I will tell you these types of things make me feel weird, but it's unexplainable. Okay. So I told on the episode, I don't know, whatever it was, a couple episodes ago, I was listening to Andrew Shepard. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the story is, so I've been listening to the record, you know, Steady Your Aim for a while. All right, and I had not, like, at the time that this happened, I had not gotten through the whole record. Okay, I'd gotten through, you know, whatever, 3/4 of it or whatever. And I don't know if, you know, for our listeners, like I said, both you and I are like obsessed with music and so forth. So like sometimes I'll listen to a record the whole way through to get like the whole like record experience. But other times I'm so captivated by like whatever sound or whatever progression into the next track. And I listen to those over and over again. Like it'll just be one of those things. Yeah. And so for this record, I just didn't quite get through the whole thing. Long story longer. So, and as a matter of fact, we're coming up on the anniversary of my dad passing, October 30th, and it was actually earlier this month. I had a dream that my dad and I were hanging out, and it was weird because it felt very natural.
Yeah.
Like it didn't seem strange, and I was like, so I couldn't tell that it was a dream. In fact, I was like, the only weird part about it is that I was sitting in bed. And I was an adult, but I was also a kid. Does that make sense?
Yeah. You were. It's kind of like Quantum Leap. Like when you look in the mirror, you're Jeff.
Yeah.
But in real life, you're a kid.
Yeah. And my dad was hanging out with me.
Right.
And we were just talking, and like I was making him laugh, which was not untypical.
Right,
okay.
Right.
And he was laughing. I was like, man, I really like just love his laugh.
Yeah.
And before I woke up, he looked at me and said, hey, play that song for me. Okay, which he's done before. I've played music for him and like written songs and stuff like that and played for him. And he said, play that song for me. And when I woke up, I had it like it was stuck in my head. Like, I wonder what song he was talking about.
I love that. That's crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I get in my car to go to the gym that morning. So it's super early in the morning, guys. And I'm in the car and I plug in my phone and I've got this record on, and I have not listened to the last track of this record from Andrew Shepard. And it's a song called Further Away. And I think it's about either him losing his mom or his dad. But the song, if you listen to the song, you'll know why I'm creeped out.
Yeah.
In a good way.
But and like in a way of like, holy shit, how did that?
Yeah. And I was like, because it's exactly about the loss of a loved one, and he said to me, play that song for me.
And in the dream, you heard the song.
I didn't hear the song in the dream, but when I got in my car and the first song that came on was a song I'd not heard, and it was about the loss of a loved one.
Right.
I was like, that's fucking weird.
Wow, that's eerie.
Yeah.
So
and it rocked me. Like I was like, what the fuck?
In a situation like that, sure, it could be coincidence.
Could be.
Sure, there are situations like that. So weirdest dream world kind of deal.
Yeah,
right?
like where it crosses over into reality.
Same idea. A friend of mine that I'd grown up with all throughout elementary school, knew him most of my life, and then even some of my adult life. ended up passing away, got into a car accident like years later.
Sure.
Like, he was kind of a scumbag. He was actually, like, not to speak ill of the dead, was absolutely a scumbag.
Well, okay. I mean, it is what it is.
He just liked a lot of scumbag stuff. He, like, bred snakes and sold them on the internet.
Sure. Okay.
He you know what I mean? Like, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, he was, like, straight up Florida man.
Yeah.
But, like, he was still a friend of mine. I still called him my friend. But
Sure.
he had gotten into, he had a child with a young lady. They had split up. And he was, like, again, it wasn't helping out with the kid. In that part, he was a scumbag.
Because he's a scumbag. Right. So at least he's consistent.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I always thought. And so he ended up, I heard about him passing away. Actually read about it in the paper. Like, saw it on the news, read about it. It was a bad car accident.
Okay.
And I kept thinking, I bet he faked his death. Like, kind of joked about it. I was sad because I, found out he's dead. But I also, some part of my head, somewhere in my unconscious, I always thought, like, I like, there's part of me that thinks, I bet that scumbag fucking faked his death and just hauled ass, just left. Probably went to, like, Georgia too, not even far.
Okay.
And I just kind of always thought about that. Even went to his funeral, everything. But just
still
always was
like
thinking that.
in your head, yeah.
So, like, probably 2 weeks or so after his funeral, I wasn't even thinking about it really anymore. It was in the back of my mind. I thought I'd coped and moved on or whatever. One night, I had this dream that I was driving to Dom's house when she was still living with her parents.
Okay.
That street that I drove down 1,000,000 times at night to sneak her out of the house, to go or to drop her off at work after her parents went to sleep or something, whatever.
Right.
I would always go
to read
here.
books.
Yeah, to read books, not to park at all.
Yeah.
But I'd always stop at the stop sign, and her house was always on this corner. There's a house here facing this way, but that's it.
Okay.
In my dream, though, I stop at the stop sign, and there's a house here, and in the parking, in the driveway, is my buddy getting out of his car. And I go, I fucking knew it. And I drove up, and I parked right behind him, and I get out, and I go, I thought you were dead. And he goes, I am. And I woke up.
Weird.
And I was just like, what the fuck? And I was like, and after that, I was like, oh shit, he's dead.
Yeah, he really is dead.
I was like, damn. I heard it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
I heard it from the scumbag's mouth.
He's dead.
But no, I thought that was like, that was kind of, that was compelling to me. Even my unconscious was either like going like, hey, can we free up the space? He's dead, right?
Right.
But maybe not. Maybe it was him legitimately going like, dude, you gotta deal with this.
Yeah.
I'm fucking dead.
Yeah.
You're not even sad about it.
You're
anymore.
like you're holding on to it for some weird reason.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
You're never gonna see me again.
Right.
And it's like, oh, okay. It's not as heartfelt, obviously, just to go for him.
Clearly
to go,
not.
I am dead. So I don't know. You know what I mean? The unexplained is still the unexplained. Magic tricks are tricks.
They're intentionally made that way.
The unexplained is that for a reason.
Sure.
You
It's
have
unexplained.
no explanation.
Yeah. I mean, so I mean, if you're like guys sitting around this year, like telling, ghost stories and shit, like,
What's your ghost story?
Yeah.
I love an unexplained story.
Sure. I mean, I think that it's fair to say that, like, I was just born a skeptic. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I am skeptical of all things. It's for anybody that, like, I'm, taking a shit on your, belief system or whatever. I'm not. I'm just skeptical.
Yeah, this is only our personal, experience.
Yeah. I mean, and it's, to me, that keeps the world interesting.
That's why I like to watch or see stuff for myself or experience it myself, because no one can take an experience away.
Well, see, and, it's funny. And I think that's where I draw the line, because you can drive yourself crazy trying to figure out, like, what is reality. And especially for those that believe that we're living in a simulation right now, that means that none of this is a reality.
Yeah.
Or it's somebody else's reality, but not yours.
I don't really believe any of them actually think that, because if they did, they would probably steal cars, kill people, do you know what I mean? Like,
possibly.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if they really actually...
But I think there's, like, what-if scenario, though, in there. Like, that. What if I'm wrong?
Yeah, so what if the simulation is still set for this?
Yeah. And what if it's not a simulation? I just stole this car, and now I'm going to go do time, for it. Like, I'm not...
Like I said, what if he's listening?
Yeah. I still don't behave that way, but it's nonetheless, like, it's true to say that, like, there's the stuff that's unexplained. I just let it be unexplained.
Yeah.
And I'm perfectly comfortable with that.
Right. I'm fully confident saying, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
And not enough people are very comfortable doing that.
Sure.
And that's not saying that that's a bad or good thing. It would be better, I think, if more people were willing to say, not, I don't know, whatever. I don't know, let's find out. Is a way, you know what I mean? Like, whether it be parallel dimensions, whether it be an actual afterlife, like a soul type scenario. I think saying that no, that absolutely doesn't exist is just as insane, in my opinion, as saying it absolutely exists and here's all their names. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Even as a kid, and this is obviously, I'm thinking of a lot of these things because I dealt with loss so early in my life.
Yeah.
But I legitimately thought, if like heaven being perfect, I was like, so does that mean? So I'm told masturbation is terrible.
It's not.
Right, but as a, you're.
I'm just saying it's definitely not.
In religion, they say you're not supposed to do this stuff. It's God's looking at you. Don't do that. Blah blah blah. It's a weird line between God and Santa. Yeah,
Santa.
So
Santa's watching.
But I know it's awesome because I know personally from my personal experience, it's not bad. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So
nothing bad happens.
If I go to heaven, will I not be able to do that awesome thing? Maybe I want to go to hell.
Maybe you do.
Or maybe I like a little purgatory. You know what I mean? Maybe you give me a little purgatory. I don't need heaven or hell. How about I just go, I don't fucking know. I'm just going to jerk off as much as I want now.
Might as well.
Is that religion? Did I find is that a higher power?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
If you don't worry about so much, the little technical things of life, of what's a sin, what's not a sin, and you just live your life as a morally good person, it's not hurting anybody.
Right.
I'm not forcing anyone to watch me do it. Anything like that.
Except for Santa.
Then except for Santa and God, who apparently are watching all the time because they're creeps. Whatever your belief structure is, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody, I think overall is good.
Well, I think it's fair to say too that when we get to these junctures, and like, of course, we're celebrating some form of like pagan ritual with trick or treat and Halloween and all this other stuff, but it mixes perfectly well with our fundamentalist Christian society. I mean, it's like there is room. I think is what I'm saying.
Yes,
it's not really. It's not hurting anybody.
Right, it's not hurting anybody.
What about Ouija boards? Did you ever play with Ouija boards?
I've never done a Ouija board really because mainly I don't think it's more of an embarrassment thing. From where I was going with
even when you were a kid though.
Yeah, okay. like I wouldn't. First of all, I would never trust that other people weren't moving it.
They always are.
Right. So if
I know because I used to move it all the time.
Which is like, it's one of those things of like, well, that's kind of fucked up because it's also like, it's more fun that way for sure.
If you're the one moving it.
But is it still fun for you? Or is it fun for you because you're making fun of these people?
Let me tell you a story.
Okay.
I had a friend, and it was a friend of my brother's who like really, 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 really wanted to believe that the Ouija board worked. Okay. Yeah. And I made up this demon, and it was whatever it was DEF.
Did you do it? Did you do it beforehand, or were you just like going off the top?
No, we just go to the top of the head. So it was like awesome. whatever it came up. But then I told you I had a vivid imagination.
I like it. Yeah.
And so and I was maybe I was drunk with power. I don't know, but it was funny because of how into it he was. He was just so like, I can't believe we just summoned a demon, right?
And you can like feel him shaking through the Ouija thing.
Yeah. And now here's the best part about him is that like he introduced me to like bands like Rob Zombie and Gwar, and like, I mean, he loved like anything like any type of horror, like
any
rock
spookiness.
Yeah. And he was the first kid to ever show me he got his older sister to go down to Blockbuster and rent us Faces of Death,
Man.
Which by the way, most of it is all fake, by the way, except for killing animals.
I heard that after the fact, and I was like, really?
Yeah.
So that stuntman didn't really die?
No, it's all fake.
I don't condone it. I'm just saying.
Well, as a kid, though, we watched like Faces of Death, and we're like, oh my god, we just watched this person die, but you didn't really. Yeah. It's fake. But at any rate, like the fact that he was so obsessed with this, like really into it, was just marvelously entertaining for me. And so I kept that ruse on for months. That there was this, and that like he would call.
You kept going after the Ouija board session.
Hell yeah!
Holy shit!
So like he would call the house, talk to my brother, and then I'd get on the other line. I'd be like, you know, you know, and he'd be
awesome.
like, and then and I can't remember now, and like if I think my brother listens to these episodes, he might be able to refresh my memory. I'm pretty sure, and I can't remember for certain, but I'm pretty sure he played along.
Okay, I was gonna say your brother knew, but your brother knew.
Yeah,
he wasn't like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah. No. Instead, he would be like, you know, this other guy whose name was Scott would be like, "Did you hear that?" And my brother would be like, "I didn't hear anything."
Oh,
you know,
that's
like,
fucking awesome. Dude, that's awesome. A nice 2 against 1.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, you know, and so eventually, like, it got to the point where, like, he was just, I think he was starting to, like, fray at the ends a little bit, you know?
Really?
So I was like, hey, man, listen, I burned that Ouija board. It's gone. Like, that portal.
I killed the demon.
Yeah, that portal's closed. And he was like, okay. And then that was the end of that.
And he just believed it.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Have you tried to bring back the demon?
You know,
I'll play along.
I am the devil.
I'll be the
How
demon.
do you know that I'm not the devil?
I don't know.
Exactly.
I mean, honestly, there's been some times where I think about if I should do something or not, and a little angel version of you pops up, and a little devil version of you, and then the other one, this one gets choked out real quick.
Right, real quick. Yeah.
I think it's the judgment is what I'm saying. The Ouija board, the spirit box, any of those things.
Sure.
If I'm doing those things around other people, and somebody happens to be like, and move it, and I go like, I'll be like, I'll feel like such a dickhead because it's just like I want it to fucking move too.
Yeah.
I want it to actually move.
Right.
If it doesn't move, I'll make fun of us too. You don't have to make fun of me.
Yeah.
But like if it's one of those things that I think if you had done that to me, I probably never would have talked to you again.
But you didn't.
Scott, if you're hearing this now, stop being friends with Jeff.
We're not friends anymore, and I don't even know where he's like. I mean, I hope he's
Probably
well.
in hell. The demon got him.
He probably burned. Yeah. No, I'm sure he's fine, and I hope he's doing well. And I don't I don't. But no, we've
cut to him in a institution with like a straitjacket.
Yeah, like
the demon's gonna get me. It's like it was funny.
I had a great time.
It was great. Fucking Scott.
Another soul stolen.
Hey Scott, I'm back.
You remember me?
Jeff's definitely the devil.
I am. So anyway. Yeah. So, any great like movie recommendations though for all of our horror fan listeners? Ones that you would recommend that you say like, look, if you have not lived until you've seen this horror film.
I honestly feel like it
follows
is for sure one, and really if you haven't watched The Shining in a while, like I know we all remember loving it, we all know we love it.
I've seen it so many times, man.
I would watch that. That's the only other movie I've seen twice as much as the Irishman. I'll watch it all. That's my favorite winter movie.
Yeah, right. It makes sense.
And Jeff, can I tell you my favorite scene?
Yeah.
My favorite scene is not the axe through the door. It's not the kid finding the naked old lady in the tub.
That's a good one.
The young lady in the tub's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But the old lady in the tub's weird. She's walking backwards up the stairs. And he's going, Wendy. And he goes like this, Wendy. Wendy. What about you, buddy?
Okay, so if I had to recommend a couple of I'll give you two. I'll give you one is if you've not watched the remake of Evil Dead.
Oh, I have not.
Yeah. Okay, and that was like whatever. I don't know how many years ago that was that they remade it. Now the classic, the Evil Dead, the classic. So it's an incredible film, and the same guys that made the original did the remake.
Yeah.
But the remake is horrifying.
I have not. I don't think I've seen the remake.
It is terrific.
That's great. Yeah.
Okay, so I highly recommend it. So if you've not watched the Evil Dead. The remake is great. Also, there's a film, and I don't know if you can find. You might be able to find it on Netflix still, but it was on for a while. Hereditary.
Is that the car scene? Yeah. That's a double whammy, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Jeff's review of Hereditary. Give it to him. Favorite scene too,
dude. That movie. I wasn't expecting it. That's what the whole thing about that movie is that I just didn't expect what was going to happen. Like there's so much of it that's like a typical trope.
Yeah.
And then but it never manifests. It never fully manifests as a typical trope. It always keeps you on the edge of it, like it's going to happen, but it doesn't. So,
oh man, those are good ones.
Yeah.
You got some good. I'm gonna watch. I think all of those movies. Well, probably after Dom gets
back.
Because I don't want to watch them alone.
I don't blame you.
A little scared. What else besides satanic records do you have on your turntable?
On my turntable?
Yeah.
Great question. Okay, so if we're not talking about horror records, all right, because we should have a small list of or go through a list of horror bands.
Oh yeah,
when we get a chance. But what's on my turntable right now is I did something I normally don't do, and that is I allowed Apple Music to play me a playlist.
Oh wow!
And it came up as a recommendation. You might like the skateboarding playlist because I skate. So
you barely mention it. You don't really.
I don't really talk about it that much. Okay, so I was like, I looked through the first 10 bands that were on there, and it's all 90s punk rock.
Yeah.
It's all shit that it's in my record catalog to begin with.
Do you ever get insulted when the algorithm is like, "Hey Jeff, you ever heard of the Suicide Machines?"
Right.
And
I'm like,
yeah, I've fucking heard of them, man. Like, what the
asshole.
fuck?
I'm like listening to them right now, you dickhead.
Jeff, discover Bad Religion. Whoa! Where'd you hear these guys?
This seminal punk band from California. Right.
They underground?
Right. I heard them before you did Apple Music, so go fuck yourself.
Right.
But yeah, no, so I was like, okay, I was going to play this playlist. And most of it, like I said, is a lot of it's skate punk and and a lot of the stuff that was early and mid 90s punk rock perfectly made sense. And some of it was obscure hip hop and stuff like that, which I was like, it was okay. But this band called Fiddler came up.
Right, yeah.
Okay. And it's FIDLAR, and it's an acronym. And the acronym stands for "Fuck It, Dog. Life's a Risk." So, which is skate terminology for might as well, just go after it.
Right.
What are you waiting for? You might as well just do it. Okay, so anyway, but this band fucking rocks. They're awesome.
Yeah.
And
you played a little of them for me before the show. Yeah,
I did. They have 3 records, and the first record is very garage rock, very skate rock. It's and some thrash. It's really cool. The second record's a little less like that, and then the third record is it's almost like there's a mix between garage and hip hop and but it's rough, man. It's really
I like that. Yeah,
it's really raw.
You played. Yeah, you were it was so cool because you were playing the one song. And I was it was just you were talking about the one that you were oh, this is Joe and I's theme song now.
Yeah, because it's called Cheap Beer. And the chorus is, "I drink cheap beer, so what? Fuck you."
Boom. And if that's not Jeff,
yeah,
that's you definitely to a T.
There it is. That's right.
But the fact that you played that and then you were oh yeah, and this is off their third record. And then you played the other one, and I was it almost sounded like a Beastie Boys song.
It definitely has. It has
the
same. It has the same beat as So What You Want.
So to me, that kind of shift from there, it shows that they are definitely heavily influenced by them.
Sure,
because the Beastie Boys were not too dissimilar to that.
No, and they've got they definitely have a lot of connections to old school punk rock. They're 2 of the band members are brothers, and their dad was in TSOL, which is the True Sounds of Liberty.
Right.
And which if anybody that's a punker knows who TSOL is.
Code Blue.
Yeah, Code Blue. I use that so often with my wife in weird situations, and she just laughs every single time because she's the only one that knows what I'm talking about.
That might be the spooky music I use.
I know, right? Exactly.
Sneak on down to the mortuary.
Totally original sound. These are clearly a bunch of dudes that have problems with drugs and drinking,
nice.
Which is always encouraging for rock and roll.
Yeah. Hey, that always makes great art.
Yeah.
Substance abuse usually doesn't have to be a part of it, but is usually part of great art.
It worries me when there's only 3 records because I'm somebody died.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
But hey, there's great records.
But great records. So hopefully everybody's healthy and doing well, and maybe even sober. I'd love to hear that record. See what that sounds like.
Yeah, definitely. Probably
cool.
acoustic.
Yeah. So anyway, what's on your turntable there, Chief?
The Nerve Agents.
Okay.
That was a band that I was really drawn to, and in particular the album Days of the White Owl. They have it's really hard to determine. It's almost, again, like most horror punk bands, almost like a surfy kind of sound, like surf punk kind of sound, but also singing about being evil and just screaming at the top of your lungs. And actually that's what made me think of TSOL when you were walking up, is listening to these guys. There was one song that I remember in particular. I was like, wait a minute, is that just a TSOL riff? Is that just a
right?
And I listened to it. So when you walked up and you started talking about TSOL with that band, I knew that's the band I had to talk about.
Right.
So the Nerve Agents, if you're a fan of AFI.
Okay.
You know, it's kind of a mix between AFI and I don't know. I don't even know what the other one would be. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like a more edgy AFI.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
a surfy AFI.
Right.
That's what I would say the
So
ranges are.
but you said they also have like a surf vibe, so maybe it's like a mix between the Ventures and
yeah.
AFI.
Yeah, something like that. Like
Yeah.
it's but seeing them, I never got to see them live. I think they ended up breaking up before I got to see them perform live.
Sure.
Again, 3 records as well.
See?
There might be. I don't know if there was any substance
It's
abuse
like
or
that's
anything.
it's like the Illuminati
The
shit.
horror music triangle. No, but it was.
Which also makes for like the thing in the Ouija board, and then,
he's moving it. Oh, the demon's back. Now I'm gonna be on the phone with him. I'm just gonna hear. It's gonna be your son. And you're like, we're scared him. We're like, hey, Pat, hey, you want to scare somebody's son? How about him? Just go hit some wind chimes in the room.
It'll get
adjacent
them.
to him.
Yeah, it's perfect.
But I think there. But if you want a song in particular,
Okay.
if I can do an honorable mention, a song that will creep you the fuck out. A scary song in its own, not just like, oh, this is they're singing about horror movies or anything.
Right.
No. It's technically an instrumental song, but the vocal track is replaced with the 911 call from when that lady was getting eaten by the chimp.
I don't know this.
The song is called Double Ellipses or ... and then she bled.
Jesus, dude.
And it's a song by the band Suicide Silence. It's not necessarily a punk song. It's more of a death metal. But
sure.
The instrumental itself is brutal as fuck. It sounds really. It's an incredible song. This song, if you listen to it, just listen to it with headphones or in the car, where you don't have a lot of other just
sure.
give it the whole song. It's about a 4-minute song.
Okay.
Listen to it all the way through. It will, I guarantee, if it doesn't make you feel physically weird, like feel something, it will definitely give you goosebumps, which is also a physical feeling. But
true, right?
But I'm saying, like, if it kind of scares me.
Yeah,
like it gives me a real.
Now I am morbidly curious.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it's something that we've all heard already. The 911 call from the lady.
I don't know that I've heard that.
You don't remember that when the lady?
I don't.
She was giving Xanax and wine to her pet chimpanzee that she had.
That makes sense.
And because she wanted to calm it down. And a friend of hers that came over to visit was that they suspect that because she had her hair different than she normally wears it, the chimp being in its altered state and being aggressive and
a chimp,
right, full grown, felt
threatened
by her and started to attack her. And the lady, the owner, was on the phone with the cops, and like it is a frantic, terrifying phone call.
So this is a great way to end this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was all fun and games when we were talking about grandma ghosts. But
now that like some lady's getting eaten by a chimpanzee,
ape ripped her face off and ate it.
I didn't know. Like I knew nothing about this.
You don't remember that?
I don't.
Yeah, the lady got a face transplant, and then she
she lived.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That's the terrifying part, Jeff.
I guess it would be.
Yeah. The police showed up, shot the shit out of the chimp. The chimp walked back into its closure, laid down, and passed away. Very sad. Because it's not its fault,
right?
Ultimately,
right.
And then the lady lived, and I think she was on. I can't remember what daytime talk show, but she did like a whole interview with like Oprah or
Good
somebody.
Lord, man!
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's weird.
If there was anybody that deserved to say, you know what, I'm gonna tap out.
Yeah, I don't know how I missed
I'm
this.
shutting my birthdays off.
Yeah.
Well, don't miss Double Ellipses and Then She Bled.
Okay.
Suicide Silence.
All
Terrifying.
Right. Terrifying.
It'll scare the shit out of you.
This message brought to you by
Pat. Hey, I've got a question for you.
Okay.
Do you want to hear some questions?
I do.
Well, then let's get into Ask a Black Belt. one question.
Well, you only need one.
But it's so good, it might as well be 2 questions. Jeff.
Okay, one question that's as good as 2.
A young listener that you may be familiar with, I'm not sure, Joseph Stetter, has asked yet another question.
Yeah, I think he just turned 12.
Yeah, he's a big boy now.
Yeah.
I hope his mom let him stay up to watch the show. This is a very good one. If you, Jeff, the black belt,
Yeah.
if you had to pick one, listening and playing music or jujitsu, which one would you choose?
Which one would I choose? If I had to choose between
Like music
like playing music.
and listening to. Like he's saying music.
Oh, just music and jujitsu?
Let's
So if I had to choose between
Music and jujitsu.
being able to listen and play music
Right.
or do jujitsu, which one would I pick?
yeah,
Well, listening music and playing it.
right?
100%.
Because you can still fight.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I don't think anybody who listens to this podcast can question my love or admiration for jujitsu or my dedication to it.
Right. No.
I am still fully obsessed with jujitsu after all these years. I love it. I love practicing it as much as I can. Every day on the mat, I just want more time on the mat. I love it. I love getting better at it. I love that there's days that I completely suck and I can't figure out why. Like, it's what intrigues me about it. But life without music
Can you imagine?
is no life at all.
Yeah. Can you imagine if that was a possibility? Like just
It's you want to talk about terrifying.
Yeah.
You want to talk about this was a perfect question to ask on our horror episode.
Yeah.
Because Joe, even though you're just 12 and you haven't figured out most of life yet,
Go to bed, Joe.
Yeah, it's time to go to bed because honestly, you've just terrified me.
Yeah. I'm gonna pee my pants.
The pure thought of I don't know about you guys, but there's always like a song in my head somewhere.
Yeah.
And when we're rolling, especially, I have a soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's things playing in my head while we're rolling all the time.
Let's just say any music you ever hear again, you have like no control over. Like that's how I pictured this of saying.
Yeah, it's like going shopping at the mall.
Yeah, you go into the car and you go to turn the thing on and the radio doesn't work. But like if you're ever in a car and somebody has the radio on, they're picking the music. That would be absolute torture to me.
It's torture.
Yeah.
To answer your question, like straight up and honest, is that like I
didn't think it would be that easy. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
I'd have to give up jujitsu. Without music, there is no jujitsu.
Yeah, that's true. Music came first.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, that's it. They had first dibs on the planet. They get first dibs with your heart.
That's right.
Hell yeah.
That's it.
That's a great way to end the episode.
I think so.
You brought it back, but again,
Brought it back up.
Don't forget that ape killing that lady.
As soon as you got that out of your head, I just want to remind everybody that an ape ate the face off of another woman.
Yeah, don't forget that. An ape, he didn't have anything else to grab off there, but he did rip her hands off. So.
Oh,
Remember
good.
that? Yeah.
Oh, terrific. So
ate
he
those
took.
two. And what a waste. Then they just kill it. You know, he didn't even get to digest it. You guys have been
great.
Thanks, everybody.
See you next week.
Yeah.